Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, my secondary students. Welcome to a new lesson today, which is 3B writing. Please open your books on page 48. As usual, we start with what we will learn today. We will learn to identify the purpose of the letter and email, to relate the notes to the required response, practice in transforming direct into indirect questions, practice in writing a semi-formal letter based on prompts. Let's go back to writing here. A semi-formal letter or email based on prompts. What's semi-formal? Semi-formal means it's not formal and it's not informal. It is something in between. Based on prompts means using prompts, using notes, like here. You can see here, notes, these are prompts. Okay. The question here. Would you be interested in contributing articles? What does it mean, contributing? Means share, you write, you give. Articles for magazine, to a local magazine. Would you be interested to share articles to a local magazine? Why and why not? According to me, yes. I would love to do that because I love sharing my views with the people around me, or in my city, or in my country. What about you? Please answer according to yourself. Let's move to B. Read the announcement. What's announcement? This is the noun. The verb is announce, which means that you want something to be known to everybody. So this is the noun, announcement, posted on a university notes board. That's the board that you can take notes about a magazine and the notes a student of the university has made. What does he want to know more about? The student name is Faisal. We can guess from here. His name is Faisal. So the first one we have to read. Then we want to answer this question. What does he want to know more about? Okay. Let's read. Writers wanted. Whereabouts, this is the name of the magazine. Our new university magazine is looking for writers. Then we have here a note, great. That Faisal thinks this is a great thing, that they are looking for writers. Are you interested in what's going on campus? Are you interested, are you excited here in what's going on, what's happening on a campus? Campus is the land and the buildings of the university. Then we have a note here, what topics? So, are we talking about the classes or we will talk about activities? Here the notes about. Next, do you like expressing, do you like sharing your ideas in black and white? We have this expression, in black and white means clearly. So do you like sharing your ideas clearly? Can you hold the reader's attention? Can you make people interested in writing? Have you got some free time? We have actually here two notes. Have you got some free time? Actually, Faisal doesn't have a lot. He wrote here, not a lot, to remember. And he wants to know how often this magazine published. Is it every week or every month? So he put these notes to remember and to ask for. Then you are perfect for the job. For more information, you can call us or email us, the English Club President, Mr. Nizar. The man in charge is Mr. Nizar. Okay, so the question here, what does he want to know more about? Actually, Faisal, he wants to know about the topics. Is it about classes or whatever? What topics that new writers have to write about? He also wants to know how often the magazine will be published. Every month, every week, he wants to know about this information. Then, let's move to C. Now read the email the student wrote in response, means reply to the announcement, and underline the parts of the email that correspond means matches to his notes above. So now we have to read. This is Faisal. After he read the announcement, he wrote for Mr. Nizar about these. He wants to know more about the writers. Let's move here. Dear Mr. Nizar, I was very excited to see the announcement. It is great to see the announcement about the university magazine. I think the English Club needs a magazine where students can express themselves, can tell us more about themselves, and find out and know about what's going on, what's happening. I have always been I liked writing, and I would be delighted. I will be happy to take part to participate in this project, in this magazine. However, I would like to have some more information about the magazine. He needs some information. For example, you say that writers should have a free time. I have some free time. I don't have a lot free time, but it is limited. So I would like to know how often the magazine will be published. Another question I have is about the subject matter. The announcement mentions what's going on campus. Does that contain other things besides academic events, besides classes? Please let me know. Looking forward to your reply, I can't wait to read your reply. Best wishes, Faisal Assad. So here, this is the email from Faisal to Mr. Nizar. We have to underline the parts of the email that match the notes above. We have here the notes. Great. What topics? Not a lot. Published. How often? So I think the first one here, I was very excited. This is great to see the announcement. And also here, I would be delighted to take part in the project. These two sentences match the notes above. It's great. What about what topics? He asking about what topics? Yes, here the question is, does that include other things besides academic events? This is about the topics. The third note here, not a lot. We have talking here about time. I have some free time, but it is limited. So I would like to know about the time. Then we have the published, how often. Let me know here. We have how often. I would like to know how often the magazine will be published. Here the fourth notes about how often this magazine published, every week, every month, and so on. This is about this email. Let's move to exercise D. Look at the email above and answer the questions. We have here some questions related to the email. Number 1, how does the writer address? What does it mean here, address? It's not the title, no. How he writes before Miss, Mrs., Mr. He is writing to. He is talking about or talking to, send this email to Mr. Nizar. So he writes using dear. He using here dear. Look back. Dear Mr. Nizar. So is this formal or informal? Actually, by using dear, it is formal type here for writing. Then question number 2, what kind of questions does the writer use to ask for information? We have types or kinds of question. We have direct and indirect, or both, combination, both of these two questions. Let's have a look. For example, we have this question, does that include other things besides academic events? Is this direct or indirect? Actually, this is direct. Okay, let's look for indirect. So I would like to know how often the magazine will be published. We don't have here a question mark, but it seems to be indirect question. How often the magazine will be published? So to answer this question, what kind of questions did the writer use to ask for information? Actually, he used here a combination of both. 3, what style does the writer write in? Which style? Is it quite formal, very formal, or friendly and informal, or something between the two? We have talking at the beginning that semi-formal means something between the two. So the writer here writes in semi-formal, something between the two. Number 4, how does the writer sign off? His signature. How does the writer sign off? Let's go back. Looking forward to your reply. This is the sign of best wishes. What about using best wishes? It is something semi-formal. It's not informal and it's not formal. It is semi-formal. So the writer here, Faisal, wrote this email using semi-formal email. Okay. Actually, here, using direct and indirect question, we only use direct question in formal letter, and we use indirect questions in formal letters. So here the writer used both direct and indirect. Also, as we mentioned before, he signed off with best wishes. So informal, we use for sign off, we use what? Yours truly or yours sincerely. We don't use best wishes in formal letters or emails. Okay, so the this email sent from Faisal to Mr. Nizar. Who is Mr. Nizar? He is the president of English club. So he used dear because it is informal. Faisal know Mr. Nizar, but he is not his friend. So he can't use formal totally, and he can't use informal letter or email totally. So this is the reason he used semi-formal. When you write a letter or email to someone you don't know, for example, a friend of your mother or father, you should write formal letter because you don't know. You know his name, but you don't have a relation between him. And if you write a letter or email to your friend or brother or your sister, so this is informal letter because you know him very well or know her very well. Okay, this is about his email and answering these questions. Let's move to E. What we have here, exercise E, look at the examples of indirect and direct questions in the email on page 48 and rewrite the questions below using the words or phrases given. We have here some examples of indirect and direct questions. We have to rewrite them again. Number 1, could you tell me what time the museum opens? I was wondering. This is the direct question. I want to write it again in indirect question. I was wondering what time the museum opens. This is indirect. Excellent. Do you have rewrite it? This is indirect question. We write it again in indirect question. Number 2, how much work will the project involve? I would like to know how much the project here will involve. We just change the place of the auxiliary verb will. It is before the subject, we bring it here after. 3, how much does the course cost? I would be grateful if you could tell me about what? Tell me how much the course costs. We omit does. So here, how much the course costs. Number 4, how can I get the 5th Street? Could you tell me how I can replace here the position of the modal verb and the subject. How can I get to the 5th Street? Number 5, when does registration start? I would like to know when registration, excellent, we omit does, so starts. Number 6, does the university offer accommodation? I am interested in finding out, we have here does, because it is yes or no question, we omit and replace with if or whether the university offers accommodation. This is how to rewrite the questions again with given phrases or words. Let's move to F. Read the rubric and the announcement with notes. Also we have here announcement with notes. Underline the key words in the rubric. What do you have to include in your letter? Let's read together. You have seen the following announcement about an Islamic course. This is important. Offered by an art teacher who is an old friend of your family. Read the announcement and the notes you have made. Then write a letter to the teacher using all your notes. So we have here announcement, and we have here notes, promise, always being keen on art, cost, last how long, what days. Let's read the announcement. Islamic art course. Do you like pottery? What's pottery? That's is working with clay, just like this picture. This is pottery and ceramics. Would you like to express your feelings through art, but you don't know how? Do you want to meet local artists? Do you want to meet artists from your town or city and see their work? For details, for more information, send us a letter to Ulayya Street, Riyadh, 11594, Saudi Arabia. This is for more information. Okay, let's underline the keywords here. We have Islamic art course. This is the main. Here, this is a keyword, Islamic art course. Also, we have announcement and the notes. Announcement and the notes is very important. These are the keywords that we will write in email using these notes. Also, we have here using all your notes. This is about keywords. This is about keywords here. Okay, keywords. Islamic art course, announcement and the notes, and using all your notes. Okay, let's move to the tip here. Writing task, write your letter between 100 and 150 words. The tip is when you are writing a semi-formal, we have to write a semi-formal letter or email asking for information based on these notes. Write in appropriate style, include all the information in your notes that we have written above. Organize the information in paragraphs. We have pay attention about paragraphs. Use a combination of direct and indirect question. We have to practice to write direct and indirect questions. Use variety of phrases. For example, I would like to know, could you tell me, I was wondering. Use standard grammar and spelling combination. Use appropriate phrases to express enthusiasm here. How excited you are, your feelings. I am very interested in, I have always been keen on. Let's move to your appendix here in your books, in your workbook, please. You can see writing plan. I write here, writing plan, a semi-formal letter email based on prompts. Greeting, use an appropriate greeting to address the teacher. For example, I write, Dear Mrs. Al-Qahtani. We have to write opening paragraph. Why we writing this paragraph? I have always been keen on art. Art is a great way for people to express themselves, and I would be delighted to take part in the course. Next. What is the main part? What is the timetable or schedule of the course? Could you tell me how long does the course last and on which days the classes are? Paragraph 2, I would also like to know how much money should I pay to join the course. And as conclusion, looking forward to your reply. And you have to sign off, best wishes, and write your first name, then the second name. I wrote here, Maha Hamad. So let's do it here as an email to Dear Mrs. Al-Qahtani. I have always been keen on art, and I think that art is a great way for people to express themselves. I would be delighted to take part in the course. However, I would appreciate it if you answered a couple of questions regarding the course. Could you tell me how long does the course last, on which days the classes are? I want to make sure that the course can fit nicely in my busy weekly schedule. Another thing is that the announcement does not mention the price one should pay to join, and I am on a tight budget. So I would like to know how much money I should spend to join the course. Looking forward to your reply. Best wishes, Maha Hamid. I wish from you all to write the similar like this email using the phrases and expression written on page 82. Thank you for watching this video. For more information, please visit the website and Twitter account. Until I meet you again, have a nice day.